like I started streaming because of my first knee surgery, but then I literally had, what was it? Then I had cancer, so I had surgery through that and chemo, so I streamed through that time.
We're back.
Oh, never mind.
We're back.
We're working on being back. We're seeing it.
Back.
Ooh, we are
the video
back.
is live.
Okay. Should be able to, transcoding should be working now too. So I think somebody was talking about that, but like you should be able to like up and down the quality for everything. Okay, we're gonna come back in. I'm gonna make sure because I've got the VOD set up so I can cut right there. So I'm going to transition really quick.
You ever sneeze so hard you get pins and needles all over your body?
No, that's just because you don't actually sneeze. It's because you hold them in like an
Sound
animal.
like my wife right now.
Just fucking sneeze, Derek.
All right.
Just fucking sneeze like a normal.
We're back. This is going to be part 2. The VODs will be kind of broken up, but I'll trim it and throw it up as normal things. I'm also going to try to cut everything together in the audio version for the podcast. So, bringing in as Stream of Consciousness, Session 0, Part 2. I think we were talking, Bill was going over some of the sort of mental health style things that we were going through, and how you were talking about it. Stream just sort of brings you out of your funk sometimes, and so can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so like I think where we got cut off was me talking about transitioning into more nostalgic games, things like Legend of Dragoon, which is a PS1 JRPG. I did Final Fantasy X, and just a handful of those like old games that I played as a kid that I was like, I really want to revisit this and connect with people on that level. And that's where I started building more meaningful relationships with my viewers and my community, and having that discussion about things we were passionate about. Because that's really what it comes down to. At its core, Twitch is just a bunch of nerds who share a passion about the same thing. Like, at the end of the day, we are just 3 nerds who really like to play video games, and we connect on that level. And I mean, since we've connected on levels beyond, hey, I like video game, ooh, me too.
Beyond.
But you know, we got there through that connection of, hey, we all play Valorant, let's play Valorant together.
Right.
Oh, hey, you have a kid, I have kids. Like, that meaningful relationship sprouted from just being nerds who like video games. And then I went from, you know, the nostalgia games into Hades, where I found my home in that niche, and I stepped away from Hades for a while. And you know, I went from 30-40 viewers a stream just watching me reset Hades for a hammer and bitch about RNG and yell at Amir, who is the creative director at Supergiant Games, who made the game. Like, he has a button in his office that's just like, oh, give the speedrunner the shitty RNG. But, you know, now going through some things in my personal life, you guys know about. I don't think we'll dig too deep into that yet. We'll save the personal trials and tribulations for a later stream. But needless to say, there's just been a lot of personal hardships outside of that. And there's plenty of days now where I've just been like, fuck it, I'm upset, or I'm feeling myself kind of suck into a depression loop. And I'll be like, you know what, I'm just going to grind some Hades. I'm going to stream it because I don't have space on my hard drive to record. So I'll literally make my stream title like, no mic, no camera, just grinding, you know, just so people know, like, to set the expectation up front, like, hey, I'm streaming for the sake of recording. And then somebody will pop in and be like, hey, Bill, hope you're doing okay. And then it'll go from, no mic, no camera to no camera. And then, you know, somebody, DS will pop in and just be like, fuck you, Bill.
Yep.
And then I'll be like, hey, DS. And you'll pop in and start spamming chat commands. I'll be like, hi, Doug. Or DG or somebody will pop in and just start spamming bad luck on the run through channel point rewards. And it can take you from 0 to 20 to 50 to 100 so fast. Just those handful of meaningful relationships it just means so much more to me than when I had higher numbers and most of the interaction was, hey, how's it going? Oh, hey, cool, you got that thing you wanted. To where now there's people in the community who have, you know, become some of my closest friends just from, you know, sitting around BSing in chat, throwing around inside jokes. It's therapeutic in its own right. And as much as I like to say, streaming is like the single biggest source of both joy, self-loathing, and stress in my life right now. Like at any given stream, we can go from like the bottom to like way up here to all the way back down to the bottom to way the fuck back up here again. And it's a joy. Like, I don't think I would change it for the world. Streaming has changed my life so dramatically.
Yeah. I think that for me, when I got the job at GW in 2018, I really...
He's back?
We came back for a second. Oh, we're back again.
There we go. No.
It's fighting.
It is fighting. It's kind of being a dick right now. All right. Hopefully that's going to work again.
It is.
All right. So we'll come back and this is where I will cut it so that we can get... I might have to download the video to cut the audio out of it, and I'll just stream it all together. So we'll make it it work.
Leave these bits of random conversations.
These random bit conversations.
This is character building. This really proves like we're beyond the level of just like three dudes who stream together. Like this is the stupid bullshit conversations we have when we're offline anyways. Like let's be real about who we are. Just be real.
So we'll try to make sure that the thing there's nothing I can do about the stream besides yell at Comcast over and over again. But and you know, everybody who has Comcast knows how well that works. But what I was saying before we got so rudely interrupted by YouTube and Comcast, they're trying to silence us, is for me, right? I thought I'd found my dream job. I was there for 3 years. It was fantastic. 2020 killed that job for me. Like, I enjoyed working out of the house, you know, but what I realized was, you know, for most of the job, they were just having us be busy, right? And, you know, for a long time, we had found out a way that, oh, well, like if we just be busy, then, you know, in the office, it's really easy to sort of spread your work out over a certain amount of time. But when you're home doing that, right, there's no separation between your job and yourself. So the problem is that the loss of that in December really kind of like put me into a sort of a downward spiral. And I couldn't play video games. I didn't have anything. I couldn't bring myself to play Warhammer or paint or do anything that I had found joy in over the last 3 years. And it was like, what do I do? Right? I had been doing this stream thing for a couple of months off and on, bought a little bit of equipment and done this and that. And, you know, it was like, now I looked at it and it was just like, I'm not having fun doing it at all. I went back and looked, and even on my old YouTube channel, I think all that videos are hidden now, but I have videos from like 2015 or 2016 of me streaming Mass Effect 1 using XSplit, right?
Oh, XSplit.
Right? So
Hit
I
him
was
with
like,
the throwback.
hit him with the throwback, using XSplit to stream Mass Effect 1. And, you know, I went back and watched those, and it's just like fucking cringeworthy shit. Like, it's just really bad, you know? And it's like, fuck, who the fuck knew how to stream back then? Unless your name was fucking Co. Like, just nobody was doing it. And it was interesting to me that, like, come around January, I start to make this decision, like, I'm going to make Twitch work. Like, this is going to be my full-time thing. I'm going to do this full-time. February rolls around. I get, you know, reviewed in Nubbins Inc., and you guys review my channel, and I start to see sort of success, and I start to see more exposure. And, you know, it pulled me out of that depressive episode, because finally something that I've wanted to do, some of this effort that I wanted to put in, is starting to pay off. And it just made me want to work harder, and I just started working harder and harder and harder, until I finally got to the point where I was like, you know, super happy with what I had created. And you know, hitting affiliate within 2 or so weeks, in like, I think first week of March or something like that. I was like literally 3 or 4 weeks into streaming full time. I hit affiliate, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I started growing, and then I realized that, like, people were coming to watch me play Final Fantasy, which is great because I love Final Fantasy and it's a great game. But I didn't want to be the Final Fantasy channel, right? Only. And so one of the things that I realized, and I think Derek talked about this a little bit earlier, but also, like, you were like, you play a game for such a long time and you get stuck in that game, and then when you don't play that game, all of the people who came for the game and not you leave, right? And so what I started seeing was that there were a bunch of people who came to watch me play Final Fantasy 10 or 12, right? And then when I switched to another game, some of those people came back, but not all of them did. And so I'm glad I hit that early, and I figured that out early, and I started growing and my platform as a variety streamer much earlier. But so far, as a full-time streamer, like, this is what I do for my job, you know, it is a situation where I'm not making any money, but I'm happy, right? My schedule is busy, right? I do a lot of work, but I'm happy. For like the first time that I realized in a long time, I'm not working under someone else all the time. And I'm, you know, I'm actually, like, I'm not working in a toxic environment. I'm not working, you know, in something else. I'm doing something that I want to do. I'm doing something that I love. And I actually am happy. And it's so weird. And one of the things that I wanted to do sort of with this podcast and kind of talking about other things is, you know, how has 2020, which is the year who should not be named, but I just did it. How is 2020, how has that changed you? How has it changed the way you approach your life and your hobbies? So, whoever wants to take that.
Man, I'll be real. 2020 for me did nothing but force me to throw myself into the spotlight. Like, I am the most introverted person you're ever gonna meet, which may not come through in my streams, because in stream land, I've just always got energy. I'm always happy, and in this place of just like pushing things. So, like, well, 2020 personally kind of sucked. Like, I think we can all agree, like, the past year has been shit for so many things. Whether it be, you know, physical relationships with people you don't live with, or connecting with people, or even those like stupid interactions you hate, where you're like in the grocery store and that dude looks at you sideways and you're like, what are you on about, buddy? Even like not having those interactions, or like not being able to go, oh no, I can't do this thing because grandma wedding, You know, not having the option to be an introvert and just being forced into it fucking sucked. Like, not having that chance to turn you down with a shitty excuse was the worst. But I got to be me in the most, like, raw form on Twitch. Me playing video games, honestly, was what I did with my free time anyways. If I wasn't working or, you know, hanging out with the kids, I was gaming anyways. So it just became this creative outlet for me to just kind of not be dad for a few hours a day and just be Bill. Just be a guy who loves to play video games and make people laugh at the stupidest stuff. There's I think like my most viewed Twitch clip is a highlight from one of my streams where we spent literally an hour debating how many lasagnas you could stack on top of each other before it was more than one lasagna. And like that moment to this day is my favorite moment from my stream, because it literally devolved from like I got home from working overnights at a call center. I used to work for an unnamed internet service provider that nobody likes. And I got home and I was just pissed off. The last maybe Dugger's back. Dugger, wiggle your nose. Okay, he's back. We've got Dugger back. Oh, it looks like the stream's half back.
Yes.
Oh, the stream's back too.
I was just happy
figured
I
it
had
out.
a good-looking face, finally.
Just the first freeze frame where your pinky
first
wasn't
one.
inside of your nose.
There we go, man.
Out.
Yeah, it's man, it's really upsetting.
Apparently, we cut off at unnamed internet service provider. Yeah, they're watching me, and anytime I go to shit talk them, they cut whatever piece of content I'm on. They control the internet. They know. But yeah, I used to work overnights at a call center for insert internet provider here. And that night of or that morning, it was my night because my sleep schedule was backwards. But that morning, I was like, I got the kids on the bus and I was like, you know what? I just want to stream for a couple hours and decompress after some old lady got mad at me for something I couldn't fix anyways. And I was completely and totally delirious. Like, I can look back at that stream and there was no reason I should be creating content at that level of not sleep. And it just went from this like de-evolution of like serious Hades gameplay to memeing about Hades to mega lasagna. To the point where it went from chat to we were all in the Hades Discord with like 15 people at 9 a.m. in the morning yelling at each other about lasagna. Like we got into the philosophy of lasagna. If you didn't know there was a lasagna philosophy, because I sure didn't, we found it that morning. And those moments are what keeps me going. Those stupid interactions where you can debate lasagna stacking with fully grown adults. Like, it is the end of the world and the least serious thing all at the same time.
What conclusion did you come to? Is it never not one lasagna?
So the conclusion that we came to is, in order for there to be an upper limit of lasagna, there also would have to be a lower limit of lasagna.
Wouldn't no lasagna be not lasagna anymore?
Like, yeah, but if we're gonna set an upper limit, like, at what point do we start considering something a lasagna, right? So, like, we had to come to the conclusion that a lasagna has to consist of at least 2 layers of, like, noodle sauce meat noodle. Like, you have to have at least the 1 layer, right?
So you gotta have, like, basically an Italian sandwich.
Exactly. And then we finally got to the point where the only way we could discern when the lasagna break would be was if at any point you had a repeating layer. So if you lost the alternating and somehow wound up with like just noodle, that is your break in lasagna. And that is where lasagna 2 begins. I wish this was a joke. We debated this for literally 2 hours. It was one of the most heated debates of my adult life. You would think maybe it was about, human rights or how people should be treated. No, the most serious and heated debate I have had in my adult lifetime was how many lasagnas can you stack before it's 2 lasagnas? And it was wonderful. It's my favorite stream memory, is that moment in time where we were just being idiots for no reason.
That's fantastic.
Gosh.
You want to follow that up, DS?
Can you restate what we were talking about? Because after all the lasagna talk,
We
I
were
got confused.
Yeah, so we were talking basically about how 2020 has affected you.
Okay.
In your personal life, but also sort of in your stream. Like you've been streaming longer than 2020, so
yeah. I mean, so 2020, when like the whole pandemic hit, I think there was that big surge of no one knows what to do. So a lot of people ended up on Twitch as either a viewer or a streamer. So I think definitely in the beginning of 2020, numbers were inflated a lot because people had the influx of people coming in there and doing well. And I had this talk with a bunch of other creators as well. Once things started opening up, numbers started dropping because people were like, well, I haven't went outside and actually touched grass and got to meet people for a year. I'm going to start doing that. And everybody's numbers dropped too as well. A lot. So that was a big thing. Kind of.
Apparently I'm doing it now.
You are doing it?
Now I'm doing it, yeah.
I'm doing it.
Sorry?
There it is.
I talked about this a little bit ago before, but from, 2019 till now, I've had 3 different surgeries. So I had 2 different knee surgeries, and then I had surgery for cancer, and then I went through chemotherapy as well. So I had a lot of off time. So I was streaming pre-pandemic quite a bit. So I was kind of used to that, having that a lot of time on stream and doing stuff like that. So like 2020 was like way different for me, except for I got to meet a lot of new people that were, came on Twitch that now are out, living their lives more and doing other things, which still happened quite a bit. And it was, I think the year was different, but at the same time, I got a lot of cool people that started streaming during that and still are streaming now. So also I want to caveat yours. My most viewed clip on mine is me saying ooh.
That's a good one. That's
a pretty good clip.
DS clips. That, and when we ridiculed you for not knowing what Vine was.
I
That's
know what
another
Vine
one of
is.
my favorites. Oh, there was an entire night where me and Goose laid into you.
Was it a specific Vine or Vine in general?
It was Vine in general.
You know what Vine is?
You had a complete moment where we were like,
just immediately
this is Vine, and you were like, I never Vine.
I love how immediately I know what Vine is. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I never really watched it, but I knew what it is.
Obviously I've mentioned it a couple times, but like 2020 really sort of, I started streaming in 2020. And so it was this situation where like it went from hobby to part-time to full-time really quickly. And so my stream life for 2020 is pretty well established, but my relationship with my family was what really took the hit. My daughter is 4, turned 4 in March of 2020 or 2021, was 3 last year. And for those of you who have had a 3-year-old, they're called 3-nagers for a reason. They spending literally, because the daycare was shut down, because everything was shut down, spending literally every day, all day, with a tiny little 3-nager who rolls her eyes and gets into everything and writes on the walls and uses makeup and just does literally destroys things for no reason, because 3 years old, that's what they do. It's rough. And then the fact that we're all going through this weird collective trauma, right? Of the fucking pandemic and all of the stuff going on with it. It is a really, really rough situation to like, it's already hard to be a parent. It's already hard to raise a 3-year-old and not just like beat them to death all the time. But doing that while we're also going through something that's incredibly traumatic. And the thing is they're also going through it, right? They're also going through this trauma. They're also experiencing the fact that like, why aren't we going out? Why can't we go to the park? Why can't we play on the playground? Why can't we go and get cookies? Why can't I see Grammy and Pop? Why can't I do any of those things? And they don't understand. And it's like, you know, it's this situation where, you know, you have to sort of step back and realize that like we're all traumatized. We all have PTSD from this, from 2020, from COVID. And, you know, it really put a strain on my relationship. It really put a strain on my relationship with my daughter, with my relationship with my friends. And that's something else that I wanted to jump into was, you know, we all have friends outside of streaming, you know, people who don't even know what Twitch is, people who don't know what YouTube is or don't do Twitch. Like I don't understand Twitch, or I don't do Twitch. You all have those friends. How has streaming, whether it's full-time, part-time, hobbyist, how has that affected those friendships? And, you know, what is that, you know, have you brought people into streaming that way? Or is it like, you know, have you kind of taken a little bit of a break from them because they don't really get this side of you?
Well, for me, me and my wife, we lived in an area right now for like almost the last year now where we know no one. So my IR friends like do not exist. Literally the only people I talk to throughout the day.
That's the ADHD right there.
Twitch.
Your online friends don't exist either, Derek.
Wow. Oh,
shots fired.
It's okay.
But yeah.
Yes, I love you, buddy.
Well, no, like even like when I lived in El Paso before this, they understood. I mean, they knew what Twitch was. They didn't take it as seriously as me. There'd be a lot of times where like, hey, we're gonna go do a cookout on Saturday. My wife, okay, I'm gonna start streaming now at 7:30. So okay, and then we're all having fun, have a couple of drinks and stuff. I'm like, hey, I need to go. They're like, well, why? Aren't you having fun? I'm like, yeah, but I have to stream. That's my thing. But they also like they knew like I streamed a lot. Like they knew that's what I did. So they were okay with it. But no one's ever like kind of looked at me like, why are you gonna go play video games and not hang out with us? So they knew like that's what I did. So it wasn't as bad. But I think it was just because I communicated a lot with them and they knew like that was me.
Yeah.
What about you, Bill?
So I think when I first started streaming, like I said, I was streaming for my friends. And then like as I grew it, I started taking streaming more seriously. I think a lot of my closest friends are friends that I maintain online, whether it be people who I met in the army who now, you know, I live in upstate New York, they live in Texas, or they live in California, and this is how we still connect. When I started streaming more seriously, I was less available to that group. Where it was like, I did have that issue where it was like, you know, the boys are playing whatever, and they're like, hey, do you want to play? And it's like, oh, no, I'm streaming right now. And there was definitely a point in time where my friend group felt like I was slighting them, you know, for the big money and big views of my 7-viewer Twitch channel. But it never was that way. And the way I like to think of it is like, we all have that one friend who is like, hey, do you want to go do this thing? And they're like, no, I got to go to the gym. It's kind of like the same thing. Like, to an extent, let's not compare physical fitness and health to playing video games, but it's that same type of vice and stress relief where it's like, this is where I go to relieve that stress. This is a space that is entirely my own, of my own creation, of my own moderation is probably what I would say, even though, you know, we all have mods who help us with that stuff. Like, all of our mods are aware, like, this is something Bill's okay with, or this is something that he isn't okay with and needs to be handled. Like, that is, you know, my gym time, my workout time is sitting down and streaming for 4 hours and just grinding Hades speedruns, or, you know, playing Dead by Daylight for 6 hours a day and just yelling at hentai at the top of my lungs because I'm a stupid 27-year-old kid. You know, like, those moments are what it's about for me. That is my release. Like I said before, that's the time where I don't have to be dad for 4 hours and I can just be Bill. I'm doing it. I can be the fucking chaos gremlin that I am. Somewhere where people are gonna come in and be like, wow, you're a gremlin, and leave. Or people are gonna be like, hey, this guy's a gremlin, but I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it. You know, it's like when you're watching like a car wreck, you're like, oh, that's not good, but I can't stop watching. Like, that's the description of my stream. It's just a gradual train wreck until
Just
something
in slow motion
happens. Exactly.
You know,
And,
people
like,
yelling gotta go
that's-
fast, but it's really slow motion car wreck. I gotcha.
Exactly. Like, and I love that about Twitch. And it's also connected me with so many of my friends. Like we've said, I would have never met you guys if I didn't start streaming, and I would both consider you at this point. You know, at first, I think we all kind of consider each other, you know, people we stream with and play games with. And now I can say on any given day, if something isn't going the way I want, and I just need somebody to fucking bitch at, I could call up one of you guys and just BS whatever.
Absolutely.
I can pop into one of your Discords while you're minding your own business and just say fuck you and leave.
That happens a lot.
Yep.
I get boo, DS boo.
To be fair, DS, you texted me today.
Yes.
You engaged the conversation with boo, Bill
yeah,
boo.
I had to hit
and
you
then
first with
I
that.
responded and you were like, wow, rude.
DS the instigator.
I do want to bring one thing up because you were talking
Sure.
a little bit ago about this. Was when we did the stream reviews. I remember doing the stream review of you, and you were very, very new to streaming. I think when you entered into that first.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
I
remember
was like
watching
within. I was like a
yours,
week and a
like-
half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you weren't affiliated yet. And I'm like, this guy has a top tier stream. It's like done everything right, and like all the minor details I think are perfect. And it blew me away because you were like, you just started streaming, you didn't get affiliate yet. I'm like, all the attention to detail things was like perfect, which I know like probably with you too as well. You've changed things a lot and it perfected things a lot. But it was just I wanted to bring that up because like watching you from back then to where you came now is very, very impressive.
I appreciate it. I spent weeks watching you guys do stream reviews. I spent weeks watching, you know, like Chi do the stuff on TikTok. Like that was one of the things that 2020 did for us, was me and my partner both got into TikTok, which is both a curse and a good thing, right? Because like it's going to allow us to do more things, you know, more advanced things with like advertising. But, you know, something that I've always felt like, you know, I can that's always my thing, right? I can't make people watch me. I can't make people come in and like, you know, talk and chat and do those kinds of things that like create the interaction and push your viewership. What I can affect is the way my stream looks. What I can affect is the graphics that I do. And I literally went out and spent hundreds of hours within like 2 or 3 weeks learning how to use Affinity Designer, which is how I built all the graphics for this channel and for this stream, literally today. How I went out and I learned how to do lighting, and I learned how to, you know, set up a camera and set up sound systems and make sound work good, and got myself a good microphone, and I did all of those things because like that's something I can affect. It's something that I can change, like, and I can put my effort there. And I liked what you said before in one of those reviews. It was like all the pieces are in place, right? You just haven't found your tribe yet. You like literally your audience is there. It just hasn't found you. And I thought that that's really great. And what's really profound about that is that there are a lot of creators out there who maybe don't have, you know, the time because they're not unemployed, to sit down and actually learn a new skill, to sit down and actually learn to, you know, do artwork, to learn to sit down and like measure lighting and measure sound and do recordings to make sure your sound sounds good. They don't necessarily do all of those things, but
You're talking to me.
no, I mean, honestly, I love the way your stream looks. It looks fantastic.
Streams in his living room with a desk lamp for lighting.
I love
the screen.
I
love the guy who's like, oh man, I don't put any effort in at all talking into a $350 mic. Like I mean, we get it, DS.
There's this is my lighting right here in my bathroom.
I know.
It's a desk lamp.
A desk lamp.
I mean,
look, my lighting is a lamp I took the lampshade off of and is sitting on top of a cat tree behind my desk.
But you know
I'm
what?
Sorry, in front of my desk. It's over here past my monitors. That is my lighting, okay?
Do you know what? You know what's great about that? I have put so much effort into the way things look. I'm gonna tell you, DS, I love that. I fucking love that lamp.
It helps fill everything in.
I love that thing. In fact, you need to make a TikTok explaining how you built it. Like, I want that whole thing. But like, I have an RGB LED light right here. I have an RGB LED light over here that's sitting on top of my PlayStation 5. I've got a LED floodlight, literally right up here above these two monitors. And I have a Elgato key light air right here, which is my main key light. And I've got, I've got like, if you saw the wires behind my desk, everybody would have a conniption. But it's crazy, but I've got all this stuff set up, and I was like, yeah, this looks great. I'm great. And then literally the next day I'll come back and it looks like garbage. I need to change everything again.
It's funny listening to you because
I feel like that's where I differ from you two. Is like, you guys got all this shit. You ready for my setup breakdown? We already covered my lighting. Other things that I have going on. This empty can of not a sponsor Mountain Dew Rise. This candle, and that's fucking all. Like that is where the
since we're on YouTube, this is I'm pointing out that like I've got my little Game Grumps head figure here, and my Bergie post-it notes. And
it's like the duality of Twitch streamers. There's you guys who have like this phenomenal, like both of your streams are such beautiful setups.
I was literally gonna get to that, DS.
And I'm like I got a lamp.
I want to point out. I want to point out.
Me a camera and a microphone
I made it a point to point this out during this stream. Earlier, I think it was earlier. Was it earlier this week or last week? Fucking Bill was streaming to 60 fucking people at one time playing Hades fresh file. He was, and you know what? It wasn't a bunch of raids either. He was just streaming to 60 goddamn people. And this is how his stream looks. It doesn't matter what equipment you have. When you're Bill, you can pull 60 people. Like, that's the type of thing that like you could put all this effort in, right? And I have learned so much on how to do video editing, sound editing, lighting, camera work, everything. I've learned so much about all of that, but that doesn't bring people to the stream, right? No, it fine tunes the amount of people that might stay, right? Because my audio is okay. People might not leave immediately because my lighting is decent. People might not leave immediately because they're like turned off because of it. And that's a thing, right? Like people come in and they're like, oh, that guy's audio is levels are completely off. So we're just gone. You know, that happens all the time with, like, I've seen streamers who are streaming to 50, 60 people that like, I can't hear you. Why is your game way louder than your voice? It literally happens all the time. And so what I wanted to point out was, yeah, it looks great. DS, your stream looks fantastic, right?
I want to point this out too as well, because you're pulling out like the floodlights and you have the key light. You guys have probably seen this before, my lighting.
Yes.
Because I have the desk lamp, but I also have this wonderful. This is my lighting. It is, oh gosh.
Oh, is it the ring light coming over?
The ring light with the diffuser.
It has I made a diffuser out of a quilting hoop from Joann Fabrics and put wax paper in front of it.
Yeah.
Joann Fabrics, not a sponsor.
So I have 4 ring lights with quilting hoops on them and wax paper.
Yeah.
And desk lamps behind me.
I'll bleep that out. Nobody gets it for free.
But like
Joann Fabrics, sponsor us right now. Day
Yeah.
one.
Like my panels in the back.
Yeah, you built
panels.
those.
Yeah, they're literally DIY panels with like insulation and fabric.
Which, that is so fantastic. Like, these were $25 for 12 of them, and they're just cheap
Those
foam.
are $18 a piece.
Until I get my Elgato ones. Elgato
Those are
sponsor me.
actually
I got
fantastic.
anime poster.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm very, very budget friendly. Like, I try to make things so my wife doesn't yell at me at the end of the day that I spent too much.
It'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to do that. I'd love to be handy.
Happy life.
Say that.
But no, I love pointing that out, that, like, you know, the quality of your stream is not the amount of money that you put into it. The quality of your stream is the amount of fun that you exude through your stream, right? And that comes across. Like, when Bill was having just a fucking time of his life running Fresh File the other day, he was streaming to 60 people. I was blown away. I was like, holy crap, that is insane. That's awesome. DS regularly hits the 50 mark on Dead by Daylight streams. This week, twice you've hit that mark. Twice. And like, I
don't really.
I look up to you guys, but I look up to you guys, you know, in that aspect of it, like, you know, you guys put forth the same stream, whether you're streaming to 60 or 3, and it's the same every time. And it's like, that's something that I, especially early on, because I'm the youngest streamer here, even though I'm the oldest one, it's something I struggled with really early on, was like not having that number affect my mood. So I just literally got rid of that number. I just stopped looking at it at any point, and I don't look at it at all. And that is where, you know, but there are legitimate people out there, big time streamers, who are like, oh yeah, I keep that number up all the time. And it affected me, and it affected my mood so much that you could literally tell in certain streams. Like, I was watching back my VODs the other day. You can tell where I'm like, I look over and bam, it's just like my mood is affected easily.
That's why I sometimes, like, I suggest sometimes people hide viewer accounts.
Yep.
Because of that reason. And it's like I don't really get affected by it, because I feel like I can keep the same vibe regardless of if there's 5 or if there's 50. I'm still gonna do the same thing because I just like having fun. That's what I'm there for. I like to just bring the energy, because like, when I'm there to have fun and play games, and if I'm not having fun and playing games, why am I doing
What's the point? Exactly.
Right.
I think that like, the reason that works so well for me too, just like ties into my whole philosophy about what I want my stream to be. You know, I learned from a really, really close friend of mine in the Army years ago, like, the thing that can change somebody's day, the thing that can take somebody from like being on the brink and just being like, I don't want to do this anymore, to going, hey, I want to see what tomorrow has in store, can be just that one stupid laugh, can be that one joke that makes them giggle. And that's what I've always tried to make my stream. Like, I've never cared about whether it's me and one person or me and 70 people, or if somebody comes in with a 200-person raid, it's never about like, oh, I've got to keep the viewers, I've got to do this thing. It's, I want to put a smile on somebody's face. Somebody out there is going to wander into my stream one day on the edge of just being done with everything and go, hey, at least I'm not that idiot. And that's gonna push them to tomorrow. And if I can be that idiot for somebody, if I can be the guy that someone looks at and goes, well, at least I'm not that dude, I've made it. That's my whole goal. Just put one smile on one person's face, whether it's 1 for 1 or 1 for 300. That one is the reason I stream. Like, that is 100% why I do this every week, why I go live on Twitch at all, is whether I need that one smile and I know I can count on my community to provide that to me, or somebody in my community, whether they're gonna voice it or not, needs just that little moment to be like, hey, we're gonna make it. And like, that means more to me than any amount of subs, any Twitch payout, any follower, viewer, world record, any of it.
Right.
The things that mean more to me is my stream being bigger than itself. It's why I do like charity marathons. That's why I was so proud to be a part of Hyper Delivery 4, where we raised almost $4,500 for Trans Lifeline. Like, those moments of streaming being bigger than streaming, of it being more than about the video games and about, you know, whatever stupid thing we're trying to do. Because in reality, what we do on Twitch is so, at its core, is so insignificant to the big picture of the world, right? Like, if we look at it at the bare bones level of what streaming is, right? It is playing video games in front of an audience. At its like most blanket statement, you know, statement we can make is really that's what it is doing a thing for people. It's a performance.
Well, I think there's also too as well, like, everybody wants to do that. I want to do something bigger than myself, and I think, especially like you said, Twitch kind of gives you that platform to be able to do that.
Exactly. Like those moments, like when we did not too long ago, I did a 36-hour stream to help raise funds for a charity that Nubbins Inc. was putting on for one of their moderators, and we went for 36 hours of just ridiculousness, and we raised like 500 or 600. I can't even remember the final total. I think we cracked
1,100.
800.
Nope, you raised $1,100.
Was it 1,100?
It was $1,100.
It was such a blur, and it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
I remember going into that, and like my stretch goal was $100, and we crushed that in the first hour. And we got to the point where I was like, I'm out of donation incentives, guys. What do we have for ideas? Who's got an idea?
Oh man, it was insane.
I have to do another 36 hours from that stream. I still owe my chat another 36 hours of ridiculousness.
It was insane.
I will say, I will pay $1,100 though, not to see you bald again.
Yes.
You know what? That was the army look, DS.
You know, the bald.
I wasn't one of those
I
guys
could do the bald. Don't shave the beard.
Flippy dude
you got to keep the beard.
Artillery guys do.
No,
you know exactly the one you did. You were that guy, weren't you?
No, because I had cancer and I had to shave it.
When you put it like that, buddy.
All right. Well, we're just gonna stop. No, I'm not kidding. I wanted to kind of piggyback on that with DS, like, you know, how I like the part where Bill was talking about, like, I want my stream to mean something to somebody, right? We can kind of go to the future and look towards the future. Like, what do you want your stream to be? What do you want your contribution to this community to be?
See, I am that weird stage right now where I'm taking on a much bigger job that I don't know how streaming is going to be affected here soon. So in the next so long, I'm literally going to attack it the same as I have been. I want to have fun. I want the people there to have fun, because honestly, the job I have is going to be cutting down my stream time a lot. It's going to be changing my hours to sometimes nights, normal times, sometimes afternoons, sometimes weekends, sometimes weekdays. That's going to be very strange for me. I literally look at it as I just want to have fun. As long as I can do it and the people there enjoy it and have fun, and I can still have the community I have, and brighten, just literally, sometimes the best part of my nights is just hopping in VC at the end of the night, and somehow I'll be in there playing Dead by Daylight by myself. Next thing I know, there's 9 or 10 people in there just chilling, having fun, just talking about random shit. That's the stuff I enjoy. So as long as I can still do that, that is my goal, because there's no numerical value I can put on things now to have a concrete goal, because I know I won't be able to achieve that with my job. But if I can just say, hey, I want to just have fun with our community, I think that, and in the end state of things too as well, I think that just means more.
That's fantastic. Joe is offering to shave Bill's head properly next time, so
we'll be roommates. We'll be roommates.
So sort of, we're gonna go over a little bit on time because we've had a couple of hiccups, but I wanted to kind of run around one more time and let all the people kind of know what you got going on, when they can find you and where they can find you in the upcoming weeks.
I know DS said he had a pressing question for both of us.
Speaking of, let's do the question. Let's do that question. What's the question, okay. DS?
So my question was, 6 months ago from now, what was your goal on streaming? And also, if you could look back from now to 6 months ago, how are you doing compared to what you wanted to do? How are you doing now compared to what you wanted?
Dude,
it's a deep one. Because,
6 months ago, okay.
I mean, I can tell you mine. So like 6 months ago, I was playing, I was getting ready to start Valorant. I was in that weird stage of, I don't know what game to stream. And if I had a goal from 6 months till now, it would literally to just have fun, build on my community, and one thing I really like is getting to know people that are in my stream, making that solid bond, that connection with people. So literally, that's what I've been always telling myself, is I want to make those stronger connections with the people in my stream. Knowing them, I mean, some people are very, this is my stream name this is my name on Twitch, this is what I want to go by, I don't want people to know my real name, and that's completely fine. But at least on an emotional level, sometimes connect with people. I think, and for me, furthering that was like that bond with people and more people, that was what I was originally going for. So if to look back from now to 6 months ago, I definitely achieved that.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of, the reason I said that this is going to be a good one for Dugger is because 6 months ago you were newer, so I was wanting to see where your goals were going, and how do you feel like you have achieved those, or if they are a little bit different.
Cracking the knuckles. So 6 months ago I wasn't even an affiliate. I literally just started streaming again, and putting together, like, I had a C920 and I didn't have a professional camera, I didn't have any of this other stuff, and I was just throwing it up, and I was like let's just see what I can do, right? I've always been an artist at heart and in practice, ever since I was in school. One of the biggest regrets of my life was not going to art school, and so 6 months ago my plan was, let me start small. Let me start let's get affiliated, right? Let's see if I can make any money doing this. But more than that, I want somebody to play video games with. I wanted a community, and not even really a community, just I wanted friends who wanted to play video games with me, right? For 3 years, all of my friends ever talked about was Warhammer, right? And that was a soured subject for me 6 months ago. It still kind of is. And like, I wanted somebody, video games were my life. They were like the thing that I went to escape to everything. And I wanted somebody to play with. I love Apex. I wanted somebody to play Apex with me. I loved Overwatch. We won't talk about Blizzard stuff right now, but like, I loved those games and I wanted somebody to play those games with me, and nobody was playing them. I didn't have any friends who were playing video games, like, at all. And it was like, years ago, we started playing Final Fantasy 14, and we started a free company, and I wanted people to come back and play Final Fantasy 14 with me, and I wanted people to play this, and I wanted to do that. And the thing is I realized that was the reason I was not having fun in games, was because I didn't have anybody to play with. And 6 months later, because we're running up, September is 6 months since I've started being affiliate, I have people to play with. I have friends who, if I put the call out and I'm like, hey, who wants to play Apex with me? I got friends that will just jump on and play Apex arenas with me. If I want to play Valorant, I can literally jump into Michaela's or DS's server and be like, hey, does anybody want to play Valorant? Anybody want to play DBD? Like, I can literally, that's what I did all day yesterday in my stream, was I just played video games with other people, right? Whereas normally on Tuesdays, I'm like doing other stuff, or Wednesdays or whatever. I'm just doing other stuff. So that 6 months is, that's where I wanted to be, and I've got there. That's a goal that I hit, right? To piggyback on that, and to answer and to kind of get Bill's question, Bill, 6 months ago.
Man, 6 months ago for me was a very interesting time for me, content-wise. To say I had a stream goal would be a lie. At that time, I didn't give a shit about the content, to be 100% honest. I was streaming on this headset, a $10 Chinese import webcam. Like, my setup, as not great as it is now, was at least 47 times worse, at a bare minimum. And at that time, for me, it was very focused on Hades and achievement within the game, and the stream was a vehicle to that. The stream served me as a means of being able to capture speedrun attempts, so that when I got the attempt I wanted, I could cut the VOD and submit them. And that was also around the time that I started being more involved in your community, DS.
Mm-hmm.
It was around the time where I met, both of you guys, and, everybody who, God, I talk to every day now. So, I mean, if we're dead honest, 6 months ago, I didn't have a content goal. And it wasn't until I met you guys and started realizing the communities that I was a part of, and recognizing, like, people who were just building communities of awesome people. I revamped my Discord server for the first time since I made it, like 2 months ago, to where I really committed to, more so than just, I want to interact with people while I'm streaming. And like, not to undermine the conversation that we just had and the points I was just making about wanting to make people smile, because obviously that was also a part of it. I've always been a performer. Since a young age, I did martial arts, and we did public performances, and I would compete in tournaments. It's always been, I've always been a competitive, performative person. So like, being on camera and being this kind of escalated, exponentially larger than me person was just something I've done my entire life. So like, well, it was a vehicle for speedrunning, it was also that performance outlet for me. It gave me that chance to be creative and have those outbursts and have those stupid laughs and lasagna debates at 9 a.m. after working 10 hours. Like, that's what it was for me then. And as that 6-month period went on, I went from going, what if my stream wasn't getting views because I'm a figurehead of the Hades community? Not to like toot my own horn or anything, but I've been a part of that community so long now that generally people know me. But what if I could make that more about my community? What if I could focus on the people more than the game? Because to that point, my content was very much a play-by-play of what was going on in the run. It was me clearing out a room and going, okay, in this room we're looking for this thing to get to this point to do this later in the run. Which functioned well for what it was. I mean, in the category I'm streaming, in the realm of that category I'm streaming, that's what the content is. That content is very specifically catered to Hades runners, whether they're new to the game and learning, or they're, you know, world record holders who are like, I wonder how this runner's doing. And then after meeting guys like Nubbins and DS and Dugger and Michaela and Celeste and a lot of you guys who I consider some of my closest friends now, seeing what they were doing, or even I know Joe's been in chat. Joe was the person who pushed me into streaming to begin with. Joe was the person who pushed me from streaming League of Legends to my friends to being a content creator and trying to have a stream and not just like, playing with does. Like that revelation happened in that 6-month period where I was like, right now the game is carrying me and I don't want to lose the relationships and the bonds and the community that I've formed because of my lack of effort, and I don't want to say my lack of care, but I had a very much, the effort level I put in reflected that I didn't care. As much as it meant to me, there was nothing that showed that it meant something to me. You know, you can say a million things. I think we all know that. You can say fucking anything, but at the end of the day, it's your actions and your effort that, you know, back that up. And I, as a creator, wasn't doing that. I very, very much love and care for every single member of my community. I said it a million times on stream, and I will say it a million times moving forward. If anybody in my community ever needs someone to reach out to, if they are in a bad way, DM me. I'm here. I will respond. And if I can't respond or I don't respond immediately, it's not because I'm ignoring you. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
So how does it feel to have a successful stream that's not Hades related?
It's amazing. This is the happiest I have been with my content since I started. Because for a long time, and I know I had talked to you about it a lot when I was first transitioning out of Hades, when I had first decided to step away, like, I was terrified because before I started Hades, my streams were like me, Joe, and 2 other people, and I started to taste that I don't want to write those moments off, but I started to taste that success. I started to have that like, oh, I am consistently, well, it wasn't a significant amount of money. I am consistently making money from Twitch. And it was, all of my growth came in about 6 months' time when I started Hades. And I started to work my way into that community, and I became more and more a staple of it. To this day, if I start streaming Hades, people will show up that do not show up to my other streams. And that's not to discount them. I value and love the Hades community so much. Like, I cannot stress enough how much the Hades community has given me as a person, how many doors my time in Hades has opened for me. I have a casting portfolio. I have events that I have casted and I have hosted, and I can finally start to pursue a dream I've had since I was 19. I can finally start saying, I have this experience. I have connections within an industry that I have been trying to get into for years because of the Hades community. And that is amazing. But I got to that point where I was in a rut. I was playing one game all the time. And as much as I love Hades, and I still to this day, I mean, God, my last probably 10 streams are nothing but me playing Hades and reconnecting with that game, because I fucking love the game. I will complain about it all the time, but I love that game and I love that community. But I don't feel like I'm shoehorned now into, well, I'm not playing Hades, I might as well not stream. Like, I can finally sit down and go, today I want to play Magic the Gathering, and I can go live and play Magic the Gathering for 5 hours, and I will have people who are legitimately my friends now, who aren't my viewers, who aren't my subscribers. They are legitimately my friends and people I look at as family. That's how I look at my Twitch community. Is they're more than my friends. They are extended members of my family. Mm-hmm. My stream, just like in your stream, my stream knows my kids.
Yeah.
My stream knows things about me that, I'll be honest, most of my real life friends don't know about me anymore. Like, the Twitch chat has seen all of the ups and downs of my life in an 8-month period. They've seen me go from super high highs where I just got brought on to hyper delivery, to me struggling personally, mentally, and emotionally, and them carrying me through that, and seen me hit another peak when I got invited on to host Hyper Delivery 5 last month. That was such a high for me. It was such an honor. And then now, as more personal stuff has come on, they're still there for me. The same way that I hope they know that I'm there for them. The same way I want to be there for them. I want my content to be somewhere people can go and be like, thank God I don't have to think about X, Y, and Z things for however long they can escape from X, Y, and Z thing to watch me suck at a video game. Like, I couldn't be more happy with where my content is now, even though my viewer count's significantly lower. My average has gone from 45 viewers down to 12, 15. And I think it's important for anybody who's streaming, whether you've seen the big numbers or not, to realize, like, 5 viewers is something like the top 5% of Twitch.
3.
Like, it's 3%. It's no joke.
Really?
Yeah, top 3%. Like, if you're running 5 viewers.
If you go to the browse directory on Twitch right now and you were to browse every stream, there are millions of people right now streaming to 0 to 1 viewers, or 0 to 2 viewers, where it's themselves and one friend. And that breaking that barrier is hard.
I always say it's quality over quantity. That's
it really
the
is.
biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like,
well, to piggyback off of that, right? You're happy with where 6 months.
Ooh.
I'll be real. I am happy to maintain this.
Okay.
I am very happy with where my content is, and obviously, once the personal stuff I have going on shakes out, I've recently come unemployed. There's been some relationship turmoil. Once that settles out, I obviously, like, I look up to you guys from a production standpoint. Both of your streams look so incredibly phenomenal, and I want to elevate to that level, but I have to get there. Like, right now, this is what I've got, and this is what we're gonna work with, and I'm gonna go, the production's in the can, but I'm gonna amp my energy 10 times more. You know, and that is not to knock either of your energy levels, but I feel like between the three of us, we can agree that at any given moment, I am the highest energy person in a room.
You're also the only person I have to adjust the volume slider on Discord.
Exactly. that is what I've got, right? That is what I've got. I can take you on a ride over 5 minutes of like, oh, this is okay. Holy shit! What the fuck? Holy shit! And that's where I am, and I'm happy with that. Of course, I'd love to see that success again, but I'll be honest, if I never go back to averaging 30, 40 viewers a stream and maintain here, I will be happy. Like, this is what I've looked for so long. I have meaningful relationships with so many people. I have people who I just met on chance, who I talk to on a day-to-day basis now, who, you know, whether it's something stupid and I'm feeling down and they're like, hey, here's a dumb laugh. Like, those were the things that I didn't know I needed so badly until I had them.
Yeah.
Like, what about you, DS?
Which part of it?
Where do you want to see yourself? What do you want to see for your stream in 6 months?
Ooh. See,
Oof.
It's gonna be basically the same. I want to strengthen the bond of the people in my community to the point where I just want to have fun. That's all I've been about, is just having fun, chill out. People troll me and chat with Dixper. And realistically, goal-wise, that's the only thing I can say is in 6 months I would hit Dixper partner. That is a realistic goal I could hit probably. But at the same time, I just want to have fun. If I just want to maintain what I have, and truthfully, if I end up switching from another game from Dead by Daylight, kind of do what I have been doing and kind of hopefully drag some people along with me. I mean, it kind of went from that, I got that message from Bill, like, hey, you should download Dead by Daylight, because Celeste wants to play, we all want to play, and then I got fucking hooked.
And then here we are.
And
here we are
now.
Absolutely.
Duggar, what about you, man?
6 months.
See, I think this is gonna be different because, like, I feel like production value in time and effort put into it. Duggar puts the most time and effort.
Duggar puts the most time, effort, and heart into his content out of all three of us.
Agreed.
In 6 months, I've always pride myself and try to make myself like a realistic goal, right? And the thing that I can't affect is viewer numbers, right? But what I can affect is, again, you were talking about effort, you know, production value, things like that. I think that in 6 months, I would like to have content not just on Twitch. I would like to have a wide range of high quality content on a lot of different places, specifically here on YouTube. And on, I just jumped onto hover.gg. I don't know if you guys have heard that yet, but it's kind of like it's kind of like a small video streaming service for gamers specifically. Like they challenge themselves as like TikTok for gamers. And, you know, I'd like to establish myself more on TikTok. I'd like to establish myself more on YouTube Shorts and, you know, Instagram, places like that, and get, you know, build those platforms, and have high quality content on all of those platforms. I think that's sort of create a production, you know, I guess highway for myself for that. Because at least that's something that I can affect, right? And I feel like if I do that, I have a much better chance of like getting in front of somebody that maybe resonates with my content, who is, oh, maybe I'm also a 38-year-old father of a 4-year-old daughter who loves Final Fantasy and has blue hair. Like, maybe, cool.
That's an amazing voice as well.
Yeah,
has the silkiest voice on the internet.
And then the other thing is you know, it's September. In 6 months, it'll be March again, and I'll be coming around to my 1 year of being an affiliate on Twitch, and hopefully I'll be talking into my nice new Shure SM7B. you know,
I thought you
with
said
the
MV7 earlier.
I might do the MV7, but now that I know I can use the Elgato software with the Shure SM7B and the XLR mic. Yeah, I did.
Ooh.
The Elgato XLR, like the Wave XLR, allows you to use that software with any mic. So as soon as I can find $500.
I'm glad we brought that up because we were talking about that, and I was like, it's a super good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, you know, put forth the things that I feel like are my best assets, and everybody tells me it's the voice, so we're gonna do that. The other thing that I'd like to do is, I can't guarantee that I'd get it, but I'd like to put forth an audition for doing voice work. I'd like to, yeah, I'd like to, you know, whether it's voiceovers, whether it's narration, whether it's commercials, whatever. I'd like to have my, at least within the next 6 months, I'd like to have my first audition for voice work in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How would you choose that?
Okay.
Same.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna check up right here on YouTube on a stream of consciousness stream 6 months from now. I'm putting it in my calendar, and I will remind you 6 months from today.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you point blank, even if I know the answer already. Did you put out the attempt in 6 months? I think that is gonna be our first goal of this series. We are gonna make it 6 months from now, and we are gonna check in on all of our 6 month goals.
My 6 month goal is to make a TikTok video.
6 month goal to make a TikTok video.
Let's be real. You passed that goal like 3 weeks ago, and you're like, I'm gonna sit down this Thursday and record TikToks for the whole week and put them out.
I have like 57 followers on there. I've not done jack shit.
I have like 10 followers on TikTok, never posted a thing.
My partner is pushing 1,000. They're gonna be able to go live on TikTok soon. So
oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
They're pretty happy. They've been working really hard at it, to be honest. And I say that working really hard, and that's true. They have been. But the oh my God, do you guys get people who like randomly add you on Snapchat and it just constantly pops up like crazy?
Yeah, they always want me to click on some sketchy website.
It's like polyam website. Like that's the problem with being poly.
Have you ever clicked on the sketchy website?
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Yep, don't do that.
Well, when the first
I'll be dumb so you don't have to.
The first message to me is, "Hey, baby." I'm like, "Okay, this seems weird."
That ropes me in right away. When you get "Hey, baby" from a stranger, I'm like, "Oh, tell me."
No. The best way to tell if it's like a bot or if it's like somebody trying to advertise something is, where are you located?
Oh, that too as well.
What do you mean,
Like,
where am I located? We matched on Tinder. You said you were 5 miles away. What the fuck?
My favorite thing
at home
is recently I've been getting like random text messages. I don't know where they've come from, but I've gotten like 5 of them in the last week that are like, "Hey, are you this guy we matched on Tinder 2 years ago?"
That was
like,
me.
I do not ever respond to it, but once in a while I'm feeling really fucking spicy, right? And I get one of these and I just go, "Oh yeah, I'm at KFC here," just to see if there's an automated response behind it. And every time it's like, "Oh well, I can't meet you at, but maybe we can meet." And it's like, "Oh, okay, so you are a robot."
The best thing is calling scammers back. I'll talk to that about you,
dude.
After with this.
Does your guys block list? Like, I go to my phone calls, go to your recents. Ooh. Literally, fucking.
I don't want to look at my recents.
Look at all the stop signs. Look at all the. That's all. Those are blocked numbers. That's the last week.
I can't show mine, but
it's insane. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But anyway,
mostly cars extended.
All right, so we're gonna get out of here. But before we go, I'd love for you guys to take some time, tell people where they can find you and what you're up to over the next week.
Well, I'm DS. You can find me at basically Twitter/DStheOriginal.
Twitter/DStheOriginal.
Tuesdays.
Most active platform.
Exactly.
It's not Twitter. You're trying to promote DS.
Twitch. Sorry.
There you go.
I was looking at Twitter. Sorry. But yes, Twitch. I am active now on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually doing some Dead by Daylight, do some other random things. Maybe here in the next couple months we're gonna change up a little bit. But yeah, just come over, have some fun, and yeah, I enjoy it.
Bill?
Well, you can find me not on Twitter, but at twitch.tv/I'm-doing-it_. Right now, I am at the stream when I feel like it part of my life. I've kind of abandoned my stream schedule due to personal conflict and just not having the energy to put forward the content I want to all the time on a schedule. So when I have the motivation, we'll go live for like 3 to 7 hours, just doing whatever. A lot of Magic the Gathering lately, really deep into Hades Fresh File, trying to get through that. But if you enjoy the Gremlin Chaos, come visit me on Twitch, twitch.tv/I'm-doing-it_. We have a blast of a time. Duggar, where can we find you, bud? Aside from here at the current home of Stream of Consciousness.
Well, Stream of Consciousness is going to live on this YouTube channel for the time being. You guys can find, I've thrown the Discord links for everybody's Discord in chat. There, you can find us at those Discord links, but also you can find me and Bill and DS at our links in the description down below. Twitch.tv/soDugger. That is going to be my Twitch link. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, all under the same username, soDugger. And I will be here every Thursday with these two guys talking streaming, talking life, talking being dads. We'll save that one for the next time. Yeah, and if for those of you who enjoyed this, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to get notified when we go live every Thursday, hit the bell icon. And that way, you too can have a stream of consciousness. DS, Bill, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Let me throw one more thing out into the ether before we wrap. Guys, if you have things that you want to hear us talk about, post it in our Discords. Post it in the comments of these videos. Let us know what you want out of this, because I think we've discussed it personally, and I don't know if we mentioned this during the show, but we want to talk about streaming from a real and relatable perspective. We don't want to do the thing everybody's doing, that's, if you want to make it as a streamer, you use this website. Fuck that. We want to talk to everybody about the things that matter, about streaming as a passion, as a hobby, the relationships we've built through streaming. We want to know what you want to know about. So please, if you guys have suggestions, we really are 3 bumbling idiots trying to put together content right now. If you guys have things you're interested in, give us suggestions and we will look at them and we will do our best to deliver on the content that you guys want to hear about.
And a small add to that is, I think the real big thing is we like to talk about the things that people don't like to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's the ups, the downs, the sideways, the this kind of sucks kind of moments. We've went through those.
Yep.
All of us have went through those and will go through those. And a lot of people here will go through the same thing. So sometimes there's some little things that we've helped us through this, that if we can take that 5 minutes to tell you, that could help you out over the weeks of agony it put us through, that is amazing.
Yeah, there's no, within reason, there is not a topic we're not willing to approach. Within reason, before the internet takes this overboard.
I think that's already done, Bill.
We want to discuss the things that you want to ask people, but are always like, man, I don't know if it's okay for me to ask that question. Like, the worst thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna ask a question and one of us might go, hey, I don't think that's an appropriate subject for us to discuss in a live format.
It could still resort to DMs if it's important, though.
Exactly. But if it's something that is an itching question, I think all three of us at this point have enough experience in the pitfalls of content creation to where if we personally haven't seen it, we know somebody who's been through it. I think we've cast a wide enough web in the internet to where we've more or less seen it, whether it be personally or through a friend. We've kind of seen it all at this point to some degree.
Yeah.
So please, if there are suggestions and things you want to hear the three of us talk about, put it in the comments, drop it in our Discords. Be a part of this community, because we want all of you here. We want to get to know all of you. We want to be that outlet for this community.
And to piggyback a little bit on that as well, you know, we've been through a lot and we have a lot of the perspectives that a lot of people go through when they're streamers, but there are also perspectives out there that we can't possibly understand. And we want to talk to those people too. So if you're a streamer from a marginalized community, if you're a streamer from somebody who maybe has had, you know, for example, something that's happened recently is the hate raids that are taking place on Twitch. If you're somebody who has had one of those happen, if you're somebody who has gone through those types of things, we want to talk to you. We want to see how streaming has affected you in your life as well. So again, hit that like button if you like the content. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon to get notified when we're going live. And we will see you guys next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 8:30 Eastern. Thank you so much from us to you. Have a good one.
See ya.